was running with the set, yeah. Running with the set, yeah. Yeah. We don't never flex, we just rep, hear me?
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Welcome to Imagination Show Episode 3. I hope you've been kept of the Lord and you're so healthy during this pandemic.
My name is Kwangadi Disi.
And I am MC Glenn 254. And today, not to mention, we have a very interesting topic to talk about today. And also, not forgetting, a very interesting guest.
But before we dive into today's topic and introduce our own guest, we would love for you to like our Facebook page, click subscribe to our YouTube channel, and follow us on our social media platforms at Situm Kisumu Church.
Don't forget to hit the notifications button both on Facebook and also the subscription button on YouTube so that you get our videos whenever we shoot them.
Mm-hmm. So, Glenn.
Yes.
You know, youths nowadays, they tend to take their abilities and talent for granted, you know.
True.
And some of them use them to glorify Satan instead of taking them, you know, using them to praise God and to glorify Him.
Actually, if you read the Bible, the story about the parables of the talents, you realize that we had two servants who actually buried their talents.
Sure.
And that's actually what is happening right now. It's either they bury the talent or they use it not for the glorification of God. Because there's this quote I read somewhere that made some sense to me, that your talent is a gift from God, but how you use your talent is your gift to God. So, ladies and gentlemen, sit tight as we discuss our topic for today, which is talent. And the one to take us through is a medical doctor and a father of 3.
A husband married to one wife.
Remember, one female wife.
One female wife, a musician, the famous Mayenga writer. Just to mention but a few. Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome on stage Dr.
Oyaro.
Yes, you can. Inakiani la mongawa. Mayenga, 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 mayenga royengo pi. Mayenga, 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 mayenga royengo.
Siliwambia still ya katatu.
Mayenga kitale. Mayenga katabusia. Mayenga royengo pi. Mayenga yengo Kisumu. Mayenga Kakamega.
Hey, thank you very much, our DJ. Dr. Oyaro.
Yes, sir.
Karibu.
Asante sana.
Hapa tunafanya hii.
Oh, okay. Dero.
Karibu sana.
Dero.
Dr. Oyaro. Kolon nayo.
Have a seat. Welcome, Daktari, to the Imagination Show.
Thank you.
So, before we start on our topic today on talent, I would like to ask you a few questions.
All right.
What is your most used, your favorite, or let me say, the most used emoji?
Your phone.
On your phone, yeah.
On my phone, I think it's a thumbs up or something. I think so. Yes. Like
you know natumianga kumaliza conversation. When you're young, did you like watch wrestling?
yes, I've been a favorite. I mean, I've been a fan of wrestling. Wrestling has been.
So if you were to be a participant, like Sasa Dr. Oyaro, ladies and gentlemen, welcome Dr. Oyaro. Which will be your your song, your intro song?
Must it be like a song that has already been made, or I'm free to choose?
You're free to choose.
Okay.
Yeah.
Most likely I will like write a song for myself, and it'll have to do with strength, of course. Mm-hmm. But if I'm to take a song that is already recorded, I'm thinking of something like "Not by might, not by power, but by the Spirit of the Lord," something of that kind.
So you see, Doctor, like "Not by might."
Oh yes, and reggae style, that would work for me.
That will be. By the I've gone through your music, and it's like you love reggae.
Yes, I do.
Interesting. So to my, like the Bible talks about so many spiritual gifts. When you talk about the gifts of the gift of preaching, the gift of prophecy, or something, can you like at least give us some few gifts that you realized during your time of ministry and also during your life?
Okay. I would say that from the fivefold, I'm more of a teacher. Most of the times when I'm given a platform to speak, and I do a lot of high school ministry, so I like teaching. Because I believe that guys need to be empowered to know the word, for them to be able to use that word to defend. I mean, God doesn't need defense, but at times you find yourself in a situation where you need to teach guys, tell them the word as it is so that they understand the context, the context.
Yeah.
Actually, they can even use it to defend themselves against the enemy.
Yes.
Exactly. The same way Christ used the same word when the enemy was during this time with the enemy in the wilderness.
Right.
In the temptation.
Yeah.
So, Doc, tell us your story. Who is Dr. Patrick Oyaro?
Patrick Oyaro is a sixth born in a family of 8 siblings from the hills of Nyahera. I'm born again. I love the Lord as my Savior.
Amen.
I got Christ when I was washing my clothes at home in the village.
That's interesting.
And I remember that day I told God, I'll never stop praising you. And that was a good day for me. I work as a medical doctor for the last almost 20 years. And I'm a father of 3 girls, Shama, Shekina, and Hadassah. And as you had introduced me, yes, I'm married to one female wife called Caroline. That's in a nutshell. And apart from the work that I do to put food on the table, I love ministering through gospel music.
Amen.
Yes, and from your name, Dr. Oyaro, wacha sasa viewers wajue. Wewe ni daktari wa kutibu ama madaktari wa PhD?
All right. I know that sometimes is a question that many people may be asking themselves. I am trained as a medical doctor. I went to medical school at the University of Nairobi. And I trained for 5 good years and then came to work in Kisumu. After that, I've gone for my master's program in public health and what is called epidemiology.
To explain your comment section.
Yeah,
So I'm a medical doctor in a nutshell.
Okay.
Yes.
That word epi.
So in your field, in the music, you're in the music industry as well as in the medical field.
Right.
So what is your most, memorable moments, or let me say defining moments in both of these fields?
Wow. Defining moments. There are several defining moments, I would say, in my course, in my profession as a doctor.
Yeah.
One is that as a Christian doctor, I strive to be different because I take it as a call and not just a profession to earn money. And a few instances is when, of course, when you see a patient get well, it's an exciting time. And you want to thank God for it. On the flip side, when you see a patient you've been attending to pass on or die, it becomes a breaking moment, I know, because sometimes when you have your patient as your client, you get attached.
Yeah.
And you're going home and I left that patient and you're hoping to see that patient tomorrow morning. So if you come and the patient is normal, then this is an issue. A few other instances, I've had instances where young girls come to me and say, I am pregnant, it was not planned, I want to abort. And I have an opportunity to talk to them and they think otherwise. And they hold the baby and they deliver. And when they deliver, it's a joyous moment to see they have the baby born. And of course, you crack a joke and tell them, no, you didn't want this baby, give the baby to me. And they say, no, I can't give the baby to you. I think those are really interesting moments. For music, defining moment, I don't know. There are several instances that my joy is when the music blesses somebody out there. And so if someone would call me and say, I was low, but you have just sent this song at the right time. Okay. And it has changed my life. For me, that is an important moment for me. Even if it is one person. Yeah. That's what makes me happy.
We must acknowledge the fact that you're a talented and also anointed gospel artist. Yeah. We just must acknowledge that fact from the music I've heard from you and also from the ministration in church where we go to. So, why did you? Like sahi, mtu kuamua tu ati mimi nataka kuwa daktari lakini bado niimbe. Mbona ulichagua zote mbili? Ni zote zinalipa vizuri? Mbona ulichagua zote mbili? Na sio music full time.
Okay. Thank you for the question. Let me say that all of us have been gifted or given a talent by God. All of us. There's no one who does not have a gift. The question is, have you identified that gift or talent? So people may decide to use it or not use it.
That's true.
So I was born in a family where my dad used to be a singer. He used to sing in choir in an SDA church somewhere. And my siblings, I'm a sixth born, so the guy is older than me. They also used to love music. And so I believe that there's something musical in my family. But then when I was in primary school, after the teachers marking their examinations and, or when they were marking, after we've done exams and they are marking, they used to ask, can somebody come and do a poem or do something? And I remember I could go in front and sing one of their favorite songs. I did it in reggae. Jesus never fails. Jesus never fails. The people of this world may let you down, but Jesus never fails. So I used to just go to sing. Little did I know that this was a gift that was already being inspired for me to be able to sing. Why music? It's a gift given by God. And as part of the purpose for which God has created us is to worship Him with the gifts that we have. And that's why I am doing that. People may not know my history, but before I got born again, I'd written around 50 secular songs. Most of them were love songs. But when I got born again, that book disappeared at home. I've never traced where it went. But I believe that God had a purpose for that to happen. So I'm singing because at the end of the day, that's a gift that God has given unto me, away from the profession. Now, coming to medicine, my interest in medicine was inspired by, I would say, my parents. My dad was a retired medical laboratory technician, and my mom is a retired nurse. And so while going to school from Manyata to Bayani Primary School, I could pass through the hospital, Russia here, just to pick money for lunch or something like that. And that contributed to my desire for being a doctor. And I do this as a call, but truthful to also put food on the table. I don't depend on the music to put food on the table. But either way, as you praise God, He brings the monies. Yes.
Kabisa. Yeah. So, what you're trying to tell someone outside there is that you can still manage the academia world and also pursue your God-given talent.
That's right. You can have your profession with whatever it is you want to pursue, but still pursue your gift to bless God and to bless God's people. And I can even say that there are some places that I have been able to go to not because of my work as a doctor, but because of the music. So the talent can actually take you to some places that your profession may not be able to.
So, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it from the doc in our first session that talanta inaweza kukupeleka mahali masomo inaweza shindwa kukupeleka, lakini pia masomo inaweza kukupeleka mahali talanta pia inaweza shindwa kukupeleka. So just know how to juggle up the two. In all this, just make sure that God is magnified and the glory of the Lord is seen. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are taking a very short commercial break. We'll be right back. So it's your boy MC Glenn 254 and I'm chilling out with
your girl Kongati Daisy. The Imagination Show is a show project of Sitam Kisumu Youth Ministry that focuses to wrestle with real life situations around the youth. Welcome back, guys, to the second session of the Imagination Show. Now, before we went for the break, Daktari here told us about himself, how he found himself in the medical profession, and how he manages to be a musician himself, to make music for God. Now, Jesus himself, he talks about talent, right? He mentions that talent should be used and managed well, according to St. Luke's Gospel, right? You know, there's a teen out there, a young person, who is struggling. He or she has identified what he wants. Let me use him. What he wants, anajua talent yake. But the problem is, the farthest he can go with this talent is just, trying to practice it in his room. He's scared of what the parents will think about, the critics, fear of showing it off. Let me even give a personal experience. Let me talk about myself in a way. You see, when I was young, I knew I have my talent is acting. I'm into drama, and when I was young, I used to be passionate about drama and stuff. But when I was 13 years old, I told my dad that, Dad, you know what? I think I want to be an actor. I want to be in the, how should I say it? A movie director in the acting world. Yeah. And my dad told me that you can't be that.
Your African dad.
My African dad mentioned that you cannot be an actor. He said that actors are people who use drugs. Actors are people who don't have a purpose in life. They have tattoos. You don't know what they do behind the scenes.
Actually, to affirm whatever she's saying, when I was in high school, actually, I went to a point where I was demoted from being a CU leader just because I was in the drama team. So there's this perception about talent that is, ata ukienda nini, like we come back to the real world, which is Kenya. There is a way talent ijapewa nini kipaumbele. So what will you what advice will you give to a parent who is not acting as the master that Christ is talking about in the parable of talents? He or she is not giving their kids Daisy here an opportunity to explore that which God deposited in them.
Yeah. Thank you for bringing that up. So just as you've asked Daisy, and of course you have an experience of how your parents responded, I think we have an opportunity here to change the perception of our parents, our current parents, because probably things that happened to them way back, they should be able to change as times change. Whereas the Bible has been in existence from way back, and that verse you've talked about, talent, has been there, it is important for us to know that, as the way I'd indicated earlier, that all of us have gifts and talents, and we need to use them to benefit the body of Christ, serve God and serve humans. But that same talent can help someone to put food on the table. And there are several examples that we can give. Probably both, I would say, in Africa and out of Africa. There are people who are earning a lot of money And I would dare say more than what a doctor would earn in a month. So the most important thing is for parents to sit down and discuss with their children, what do you want to be? And explore, right? So there are those who want to pursue what is in line with their talent as a profession. It is possible.
Yeah.
It is very possible. As much as I said that I don't depend on music, for example, to earn a living, I have done some songs that are not necessarily Christian. I would say they are secular because they're not necessarily praising God, but they're not evil in that they're teaching people. I've done a song on HIV. I've done a song on COVID just to teach people. And at some point, I was asked to go and sing in a function that was being led by the First Lady. And after singing for 5 minutes, I was given a check of 150,000 shillings.
Hallelujah.
Now, I'm not, I'm not pushing guys to look at money, but I'm just saying that if someone has a desire to pursue what is in her heart or his heart, they need to be supported to do it. But one of the worries of the parents is, how do you balance, right? Yeah. How do you balance? So if I went to school and 80% of my time was in drama or in music, and I only studied 20%, no parent, of course, will allow that to happen.
Kabisa.
So what we need to do is, fine, sit down with the child, find out the gift, find out the talent, but advise and say, fine, you're in school, spend this much time on your studies, spend this much time on the clubs that you're attending, so that at the end of the day, you have come with a good certificate, right? Mm-hmm. So a company can still employ you to be an ICT director or an ICT person of that company, but you also play for the football club of that company.
Yeah.
You'll be better off than someone who is just playing football for that company. Yeah. So how can you balance and how can you benefit from both your intellectual profession and the gift that God has given unto you? And so that's what I would tell parents, that to support them. And it is not difficult to identify what your child is gifted in. You can find a child is busy collecting all the spoiled phones and putting in the room, and you think this is just rubbish and garbage. But this child is trying to monitor how these things work.
Yeah, true.
He may be an electrician or an engineer in the making. Yes.
So how do I identify a specific talent or gift? Because it's proven that at least one human being has a whole load of talents deposited in them.
Right.
Just a matter of realizing some of them. And how will I know that this is it? That my talent is dancing, singing. Yes.
Good question. Most of it is natural by observation. I would say observation. The tricky thing with observation is what amount of time do parents spend with their children to even know what they're able to do. So let us be parents that are present, and then let's observe. My children, or our children, for example, sometimes can sit in the house and say, today we are acting mom and dad. And we watch them and just see what they're doing, and we are learning from them. Sometimes I can be in my bedroom, but I hear someone singing in the kitchen. And I'm wondering, who is that? When I go and check, I find our youngest daughter is singing. Of late, our eldest daughter has been asking for my laptop to use. So when I give her, I find she has got into Publisher. She's got into some things in the computer that my wife and I have never discovered. The last thing she was doing was she was taking video with a laptop and then projecting to the TV. And we were amazed and wondering, what is this? At the back of my mind, probably I'm saying, this girl should be a doctor like me. Yeah. But the last few days, when we watched what she was doing, we said, I think we may be wrong. This should be some ICT person, or she'll be a sound technician somewhere. And if that is what she loves and will put food on the table for her, we will support her. So observation. Yeah. Number 2, we have to deliberately ask. What are you good in? If you don't identify, you may have to introduce some common things to find out if the child can identify the gift. You may have to deliberately introduce some of the things. And if it is difficult, I would even say you need to pray.
Yeah, true.
You need to pray and help them discover what they're good in. Some of it will be trial and error. They'll try, they'll go and play soccer, they'll go and try singing, they'll go and try acting, they'll go and try playing tennis or something, and some may not work out, but some may just work out and you'll realize that this is what this boy or girl can do.
Looking at life and how people are using their talents, especially in our land, Kenya.
Yep.
We've been having people either leaving one thing to go and do the other. Especially some of our musicians in Kenya, we find that they have an academic background, but wakachana nayo, they ventured into music real time. But not talking about being that academics is also some other talent in its own. So talking about these people who are multi-talented, like you. Yes, multi-talented.
Yeah.
So how can someone juggle up two colliding missions like yours? Like it's medicine, nani kuimba. Do I use my singing? I go and sing to people in the hospital?
Yeah.
Or something.
How do you balance between the various talents and gifts if you are multi-talented? Right now, I would say as a young person, you may not have had a lot of engagements apart from school and the talents. We can say it is manageable. But as you grow up and other things come in, you get work, you get family, it becomes complicated. Now, in a case of someone who has not got into work and not got into marriage life, I would say that you just need to prioritize and do what satisfies you most. It satisfies you, it gives you joy, it will give returns. You may have to reach that level where you make a choice. If it's going to serve more people, if you're comparing something that is serving more people than few people, I would choose what serves more people. If it is something that may give me more returns, I would choose that. If it is something that takes probably less time, if time is the issue, I would go to that. So you have to probably draw some table, imaginary table, and look at, okay, I have 5 talents, but these factors, 5 factors, time, resources, outcome, or returns, then you compare and make a decision. When you get into work, when you get into marriage life, things change. When I met my wife, for example, she knew that I was singing. And she also is a singer. She can sing. Yeah. So probably that was a point of connection. But whereas when I was solo, I could go for a camp for 1 week without bothering what is left behind because there's no wife and there are no children. Right now it's different. I serve God first. After God is my family. My family. Then number 3 is my ministry. Though family is a ministry in itself.
Yeah, true.
But then number 3 is my ministry. Balance family and ministry. Look at it. Can I go for a concert in Nigeria for 2 weeks, yet I've not been given leave at work? I'll be sent away from leave. And I'll have no money to feed the family. So you have to be wise here. Prioritize, be wise. Look at what is a must and what is I would be, what I would just like. There is the things that are must for that particular time and the things that you may just want. Yeah. So I would say prioritization, look at your list and balance your time. Yeah.
Yeah, and actually I have a concern.
Yes.
You know, there are some people who, they know what their talent is. But the problem is they fear to showcase them.
Yeah.
And some even, they don't have platforms where they can, show their talents and try to build them.
Yes.
Because say someone like Glenn, at his age,
Yeah.
if he realizes that I have a talent in emceeing at this point,
Yeah.
like, can it be nurtured? Because for me, I usually think that talent should be nurtured when you're young so that you can grow into it and all that. But what if you fear showcasing it, you don't have platforms, and you just don't have mentors or...
Yeah. Thank you, Daisy and Glenn, for mentioning that. So for your question, Daisy, if you fear, I don't know how best to put it. You just have to stop the fear. I think that the fear has been brought by what we observe, what has happened, but there's an opportunity to change the script. There's an opportunity to change the script. Many people are fearful, but you just need to take that courage and approach someone for help. It's the easiest way I can say. However, I would like to say that people who have gone ahead should be ready to be mentors. If for Yarrow, I have done my 5 albums and I have 70 songs, whatever, it's an opportunity for me to raise other people. It's an opportunity to me, if Glenn tells me I want to do this, instead of me doing it, I need to give Glenn the platform. There are times when I've been invited in a concert to sing, but I've said I'm not going to sing. Instead, that person who was not even in the list needs to come and sing. Because I don't need more exposure. I don't need it. But there's someone who has not even, he did his album, is even giving up, wants to throw the CD away, but because he's not got an opportunity. So let's face the fear. When you face the fear, approach people. Come and say, give me a chance. And the people will give you chances. And this is the time if I'm allowed, I speak to pastors, for example. I can't lie about it. There are several young musicians in Kisumu, for example, who have come to me. And the moment they told their pastor that they wanted to do an album or join so-and-so in a concert, they were denied that opportunity. So we killed the talent as the men of God. Yet, as a man of God, you should be a father who should hold the hand of your flock, hold the hand of your child, walk with him so that he can nurture the talent. So it's a double-edged thing. You address the fear, approach mentors, approach people who have gone ahead of you. If you stand on the shoulder of giants, you're going to see far. But then we as mentors, we should not be greedy. We need to mentor people who are coming after us to go ahead and nurture their talent. That is what I would say. And so that young man out there who is feeling desperate, come. And our parents too. The way you support a young person to develop interest and grow in the profession is by getting people who have gone ahead and bringing them. If you have a daughter, if you have a son who wants to be a doctor, we are here. Just come, bring them, let's talk. We'll tell them the intricacies of being a doctor, and they'll make a decision whether they are ready or they're not ready for it. And that applies to all professions and all talents. Yeah.
So I want you to look at that camera.
Okay.
That camera and talk to that young person back at home there. Talk to that parent outside there and just give them the value of these giftings, the value of the giftings that God has implanted in us to both the society and also to God.
Yeah.
All right. For the parents, and it doesn't have to be a biological parent, but anybody who God has given that responsibility to take care of a young person or a junior person, we have the role to give our children or our mentees a platform for them to nurture their gift. Don't rubbish them. Give them an opportunity. Give them a hearing. Let them share with you. If you are not sure, please call an expert or someone who has done it before to help you understand. Then you can discuss meaningfully and make a decision to help them nurture their talent. Don't be a roadblock. Don't be the one who is going to stop them from achieving the gift that God has given unto them. For that young person, don't give up. Face the fear. Get the courage. Rise up and ask this question. Ask for help. There are several people out here who are ready to help you. And I believe that they'll give you a platform to be able to nurture the talent that you have. Use your talent well to glorify God because He is our Creator.
Thank you so much, Dr. Oyaro, for being our guest today. I know kuna mtu hapo anauliza, they might have questions, they might want to ask you more about talent, they might want to reach you out. So, Wambie, where can they find you in your social media, platforms, handles and all?
All right. So you can get me on my phone number. That is 0721 245 564. You can get me on Facebook. I just use my name, Patrick Oyaro, no AKA. My Twitter, is it Twitter or Twitter?
Twitter.
Yeah, that one. My Twitter handle is at Patrick Oyaro, or you can get me also at Oyaro Patrick. Basically that.
Haujaingia TikTok?
Not yet, but maybe you can introduce me to those if I will survive.
Sure.
So, ladies and gentlemen, that was our guest, Dr. Patrick Oyaro. I was your host, MC Glenn 254.
And I am Kwangadi Daisy. Be blessed.
Yes, so as we sign out, we're leaving for you the stage. We want you to do for us some reggae tunes.
Now, Peter.
Yeah, Buster.
Do you love me?
Me love you.
Do you really, really love me?
Me love you much, lad.
Then feed me flock. Turn me flock. I said feed me flock. Preacher man, I'm talking to you. Do you really, really love me, Lord? Preacher man, I'm talking to you. Do you really, really love me, Lord? Preacher man, I'm talking to you. Do you really, really love me, Lord? Preacher man, I'm talking to you. Do you really, really love me, Lord?
Ladies and gentlemen, see you next week. Same time, same place.
Do you really, really love me, Lord? Preacher man, I'm talking to you. Do you really, really love the Lord? Preacher man, I'm talking to you.